welcome back to another episode of Whitney's World Podcast. I'm your host, Whitney Morgan Ward, and I'm so thankful that you've tuned in wherever you're at on this planet. Thank you for being here. If you guys have not yet subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do that. Your support means everything to me. Share my podcast with someone that you think will love it. Thank you guys for doing that, for sharing it and spreading the love. The more, the merrier. We are just trying to ascend, evolve, grow together, love more, love harder, and be the best human beings that we can be so we can create a better life and a more beautiful life for our children in the future and our future selves. So yes, thank you guys. And also Spotify, if you guys can give me 5 stars, rate it, leave comments, I would really, really appreciate it. Same with Apple Podcasts. I love to connect with you all and to really just be close to you, hear what you have to say. It really means a lot. So thank you so much. Okay, this week, we're just going to dive right into it. It has been quite a whirlwind. Obviously, you guys know, or maybe if it's your first time, that I live in Florida. So it is hurricane season, and there is a massive hurricane coming straight through where I live and coming through Florida. And it's just chaos right now. It's gloomy out. There's like gas. People can't get gas. It's absolutely wild. People are being required to evacuate. So pray for the Floridians. Pray for all of us here, our homes, our safety, and that we get through this storm. So I just got back from St. Pete literally like 30 minutes ago, maybe an hour ago. And I got my extensions. So, yeah, I'm an extension girly. I will say that extensions have literally changed the game for me. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see I feel like a real live Barbie, and I'm wearing my pink shirt. But the extensions, they literally just add so much volume, so much length, and I'm obsessed with them. My 2 besties in the Tampa, St. Pete area, they do my hair. So Kristen and Millie, thank you. Shout out to you. Love you guys. And yes, if you're thinking about getting extensions, you should do it. It's worth the investment. They are expensive, but I'm telling you, it really does up level and change everything. So anyway, finally got my extensions back in. I'm super happy about that. I went without them for like 5 days. And it's like, I was like literally a naked mole rat. So now I'm back to Barbie. So, okay, what I want to talk about. I know that you guys have been along my journey, and we've really talked a lot about energy, manifestation, being your best self, self-development, and all of that. But what I want to talk to you guys today is when you start to glow. You've had your glow up. You are now glowing in life. You are vibing high. Your energy is just literally vibing so high. What this does is this actually attracts people to you. As you become more self-aware, as you learn more about human beings, whatever stage you're at on your life journey, you've probably done research on the mind, the human beings, the human brains, personalities. And if you have not, that's okay. This is, kind of all new to me. And I haven't done a ton of research into that. But what I can tell you that I have done is tapped into my intuition, listening to myself, and reading people's energy. And that's what I want to talk about today, because I was at my friend's house this weekend and they have a golf cart. Golf carts change everything in life, by the way. Golf carts are literally the best. So much fun. So I'm like cruising around, and I was, I wanted to cruise around. Millie was doing something, and I was just riding around. Obviously, my car is parked out front, so people know that, oh, someone new is here, because that car is not typically there. And later that night, we are all in the living room, and this guy walks in with a cooler, and he's a neighbor down the street. He's like, "Oh, I forgot to ask you," talking to my friend's husband, "want to get drunk?" And he's like, "Yeah, we can hang out. Like, let's go." So we're all hanging out in the garage. We're chilling. We're all hanging out. And it's normal to get to know people and just kind of like chill and talk. Well, you guys know that I don't drink. Today is 23 weeks that I've not drank alcohol, and it is the best thing. Literally the best thing I ever did. But now that I don't drink, being around people that drink, it just being more self-aware, more aware of the situation it's really interesting to be like on this side of this conversation. So anyway, we're talking, and I was talking to one of Millie's neighbors, and we were just chatting about my podcast and my messaging and how it all started. And I'm literally just talking to my friend. Well, later down the line, he butts in the conversation, and he's like, "So," and this is what I want to talk about. This is the energy. This is the masculine, feminine. This is protecting your energy, not allowing people to trigger you, staying grounded in who you are, not reacting to people, just really like knowing your worth, knowing your value, knowing who you are, and not allowing anyone externally to get their nails into you and get a reaction out of you. Just staying confident in who you are and what you've accomplished, where you've come from, and really knowing that whatever you're doing has purpose for you. And that's all that matters. This is your world. This is your journey. This is your life. People will put their own projections onto you, but that's only because of how they perceive their own self, their own world, their own life. So the projections that people put onto you are not who you are. So don't allow people to trigger you. Don't allow them to upset you. Like, where you've come, how hard you fought to get here. So just stay grounded in that. Don't allow people to put their projections onto you and diminish your light, steal your energy, trigger you, make you react in a negative way, because it doesn't matter. Okay? So that's what we're going to talk about. And this is really important because there are a lot of energy vampires out there. There are a lot of people that are not secure in who they are. They're not confident in who they are. They are a product of our system. And until you break out of this, it is very hard to, almost impossible to be who you really are. But you have to shed all the programming. You have to shed all the layers that have been put onto you by society, the way you were raised, your careers, whatever. So anyway, okay. So now that I got that out, we're going to go back to the story. It's story time. And anyway, he starts talking to me, and he's like, "So you have a podcast? I was just listening to you, so I have questions." And I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "So how long's your podcast go?" And I'm like, "About 45 minutes is like my goal. If I could talk for 45 minutes, that's good for me." And he's like, "So you really have something that important to talk about that people actually listen to you for 45 minutes? And I was like, "Yeah." But also, so yes, true statement. And I'm only getting better, and it's only growing more, and it's only becoming something that is meant to happen. But on the flip side of that, even if only one person was listening, even if no one was listening, I can tell you right now that my journey of podcasting is exactly where I'm meant to be. That my journey with what I'm doing, with what I'm sharing with the world, with this is fulfilling me. It's giving me purpose. It's giving me clarity. It's giving me drive and ambition in life. It's allowing me to be creative. It's allowing me to put light into the world. It's allowing me to show up and to find who I truly am through this journey. So even with him, trying to, I don't know if he was trying to upset me. Definitely he was trying to get me to trigger me. He was definitely trying to get a reaction out of me. He was trying to make me feel insecure. He was trying to dim my light because he could tell that my light was very big and bright. And so he then proceeded to ask me like, okay, so then what's your podcast about? And I'm like, it's about personal development, manifestation, healing, dating, spirituality. And it was just a very negative conversation, but negative in the sense of he was trying to get like a reaction out of me. He was trying to, because I'm doing something that I love, he was trying to dim my light, trying to make me small, belittle me. And he started talking about, Joe Rogan. And I'm like, yeah, Joe Rogan's great and he's doing great things for humanity, but I really don't listen to his podcast. To be honest, I listen to other podcasts. I don't really listen to his, but of course, like that's the only podcast that he could name. And, it's like you're trying to belittle me too by like saying Joe Rogan and, hype Joe Rogan and all of this. And it's like, yeah, bro, like I'm okay that I'm not on Joe Rogan's level. Like this is how you start. This is how you get to climb the ladder. You have to at least start. You have to believe in yourself and you have to just do it and follow your own heart, your own passion and soul, right? So anyway, he starts talking and he then starts talking about how I shouldn't say that I'm spiritual, that I just need to say that I'm a good person. And it got to the point where, again, I'm not drinking. So it got to the point where the conversation just started to get very weird. And it wasn't a conversation, if you catch my drift. Like, we weren't actually conversing. He was asking me questions and I would answer them. And then he would tell me what I need to do. And mind you, he's never heard my podcast. This guy knows nothing about me. He literally doesn't even hang out with my friends. And for whatever reason, he was attracted to my energy. And that's why he showed up that night. Even my friend Millie, she's like, this is you. Like, you're the one that attracted this situation, like it's not good or bad. It's just, it is like people are attracted to energy. And when you have a high energy, and I'm working so much on my energy, my vibration, like being, this version of me, the best version of me, it attracts people. And I have to be very cautious. I have to be very mindful about, and it was a learning lesson for me too, because it's like, even sometimes, like, you shouldn't even have the conversation because the other person isn't ready to hear it. And, if this conversation would have happened a year ago, like right when I started my podcast, it probably would have made me feel insecure. It would have triggered me. It would have made me feel like, oh my God, like maybe I'm not doing the right thing. Like there's, not that many people listening. I am not on Joe Rogan's level. Like, oh my gosh, like maybe I shouldn't even try. And that's exactly what these energy vampires want. They want your energy. They are not, in my opinion, living the life that they feel that they should live. So they are projecting their fears, they're projecting their hatred onto you to try to get a reaction so that they can take your energy from you and be like, yeah, see, you're not that good. You don't have that much to say. And this is where, when you are building something, when you are maybe going on to your new journey, your next path, you are unraveling, different limiting beliefs. Maybe you're dipping into different types of spirituality, you're going to have people that come across your path that are attracted to you because they see something different in you and they want to know what it is. But in the search of what's different about this person, they're going to try to belittle you, to dim your light. So don't let them. Be secure in who you are. Know that whatever path you're on is the path that you're called to, and that they are not going to trigger you, and that what they have to say doesn't matter, because again, this guy doesn't even know he doesn't even know my last name. And he's telling me that I shouldn't call myself spiritual and I should just say I'm a good person. I'm like, bro, that doesn't even, like, what are you even talking about? You have no idea what you're even saying right now. Like, and also sometimes when I was saying, like, these conversations you can't even have with people because they are trying to have a conversation with you, but they have zero idea where you're coming from. So instead of just listening and engaging in conversation, they're projecting onto you. They are trying to tell you what you should do, how you should do things, and to be like Joe Rogan. And I'm like, okay, but I'm not Joe Rogan. I'm Whitney Morgan Ward. I'm doing my own thing. This is my journey. This is my path, my purpose, my life. Joe Rogan has his own. So, and he's a man and I'm a woman. Like, we're complete opposite of each other. So it's just really interesting and I will say, if I would have been drinking, I would have probably become unhinged. I would have become triggered because I would have been drinking too much. And again, this is just like, I'm so thankful that I made the decision to quit drinking for now, because I am being tested. There are people trying to get to me, pull me down. And I'm realizing this. I'm seeing it. I'm observing what's happening. I'm observing, how people are triggered by what I'm doing, even though I'm just doing what I feel called to do and what I love. And this is helping people. And that makes me happy. I'm getting DMs. I'm getting messages from people. My podcast is helping people. Is it helping, the millions of people that Joe Rogan's helping? Not yet. But doing this every day, putting myself out there, believing in myself, getting better, opening up more, sharing my experiences, explaining my story from my perspective, Whitney's world, what's going on, it does help people. And that is why I'm doing this, is to help people. That's why I always felt called to do this. But also, again, it helps me. It helps me learn more about me. It helps me, break down the walls that I have, because this is what I feel called to do. This is what I feel I'm meant to do. I'm meant to go out and report back. That's it. And so then in the conversation, he tells me, well, you don't need to be out here talking about it. Like, you just need to do it. And I'm literally like, again, first of all, you're the one asking me all these questions. And just so you know, my response to him was, I am. Like, I'm a warrior in the streets. And then that riled him up. And, I realized, like, I'm just going to stop talking, because this isn't a conversation. Like, he's trying to be at war with my feminine energy. And, like, I'm not at war. Like, I'm just trying to answer your questions. That's it. It just got to be low. It got to be negative. It got to be like a cloud. And, everyone in the room is just like kind of quiet. And it was, he was very like loud and in my face and very opinionated about my podcast that he's never even listened to. And it was just really interesting. So finally, the way that I diffused it and I just took my energy back and I shut it down was I literally, when it was a good point for us to just stop, I turned my body and I started talking to another friend of mine. So when you are in situations where someone is drilling you or challenging you, like they're trying to challenge you, they're trying to get a reaction from you, it's okay, one, to be like, I don't really want to talk about this anymore. Like, you don't have anything to prove to someone drunk that doesn't know anything about you, that doesn't even believe in spirituality, that doesn't even believe in anything that I stand for. You do not have to continue to give that person your energy. You can politely say, I don't want to talk about this anymore. You don't owe anyone anything. And I think that's something where in society, we've really been taught that we're meant to keep going and not make people uncomfortable at the extent that we're uncomfortable, and we're meant to just, keep being drilled and be nice and be the good girl and, just don't ask questions, just be quiet and, answer when you're spoken to. And like that all is bullshit. And that whole notion for the feminine does not help anything. It is not helpful to try to diminish someone, to try to beat someone down, to try to challenge someone when you don't know them. Like, it would have been different if he would have like pulled up my Instagram and pulled up my YouTube and actually saw, how hard I've been working and like how much I enjoy this and how much I've evolved and grown. Like, but it's none of that. It's just, you should do this, you should not say that. And it's like, it's wild to me that people that don't know you, that don't listen to what you have to say, try to sit there and tell you who you should be and what you should do. And that is the problem with us. That is the problem with society, is everyone wants to tell you how you should be living your life, what you should do, and how the hell you should do it. And that's wrong. Because when you start to go down this path and you start to open yourself up and you start to realize, like, there's something more for me here. I'm not supposed to just live a miserable life, work 9 to 5, hate my job, never have enough, be living in fear, fight or flight with your cortisol levels shooting through the roof at all times because you're not happy and you're stressed out because you're living a life that's not actually why you came here to live. So as you start to break free and you start to break down and you start to break those chains, it's very uncomfortable. You are the caterpillar going through the metamorphosis. You are crumbling down. It can get very dark. It can get very confusing, but it is part of the process. You have to crumble. You have to melt. You have to literally become goo to now rebuild your foundation, to become the butterfly, to become resurrected, to transform your life, to transcend from the old version to the new version. But when you do this, it makes people very uncomfortable because you are doing something completely different than what they are doing. You are actually, probably what I was doing was I was probably showing this guy a different version of someone that he's never seen before, ever. And that's why he came seeking this energy. Like, I need to figure out what's going on over there. And because I was reflecting a confident, poised, I don't drink, calm, high vibrational essence, feminine energy, it was something he probably hasn't seen before. So he's trying to also figure out, like, what is going on. And the only thing that he could compare me to was Joe Rogan. So that is kind of cool. But you have to realize that as you go down your path, your healing, and you start to open up to the signs, your intuition, what you feel like your higher self is speaking to you, there's gonna be people that start coming in because they're like, whoa, who is this person? It's very different than what we've been shown. So remember that you need to stay grounded in who you are. And you need to realize that it's okay, but you don't need to be triggered. You don't give your energy away. And hopefully you can have these conversations with someone that's not drunk. But if it does get to that point and you're having these conversations and you're being challenged, you can, when you don't want to, say, I don't want to, this is not for me. This isn't the right situation. Like, talk to me when you're sober. Come back when you're, not so angry and like in my face. But you can turn around and you can just take your control back. You do not have to give your power away to anyone. This is your life. It's your reality. It's your world. If someone comes into your world, they're in your world. You're not in theirs. They came to you because you're the one changing. You're the one doing the work. You're the one healing. You're the one being the light and trying to raise the vibration of the planet and help people. So remember that they're coming to you. You're not going to them. So stand firm in that. You are the butterfly. You are the one that is in control. And this is like self-mastery. This takes time. This takes dedication. This takes meditation, journaling, breath work, being surrounded by good people in your life, cutting off people that do no longer serve you and are trying to keep you down and keep you in a lower place. But as you start to grow, as you start to shine, as you start to show a different version to people, it's going to trigger them. It's going to make them feel different because they're not in control. Like, he wasn't in control. And I could tell that that's a guy that likes to be in control and probably has control issues. But when you come to my world, like, you're not in control. I am in control. And if you're testing me, trying to get me to hit my gas pedal, it's not going to work. Bro, I'm in parked and I'm not going anywhere. I'm good. And that's power. That is the true essence of feminine energy. That is your self-mastery. And it's beautiful. And I learned so much. And, even my friend, she's like, you handled that very well. And she's like, I would have stepped in. And she's like, but you didn't, you're good. But she's like, I was sitting there, I was observing everything. And she's like, good job. It was impressive. Because he was really trying to hit your buttons and trying to get you to react and become angry, and you didn't. And then it was time to shut the conversation down. Well, he ends up, okay, so this is the other thing. So you can control the energy in the room by you staying firm in who you are and in control of yourself. When you are in control of yourself, you can control, the conversations. You're in control because you're not allowing your energy to leak out to where people can grab onto it and pull you in. That's not what's happening. You're in control. You're calm. You're cool. You're collected. And when you're done, you're done. Okay, this is no longer serving me. I'm turning away. I'm going to start another conversation with someone that is actually interested in what I have to say. And when we were talking, she's like, yeah, that really makes sense. Wow. This is the person I want to talk to. I want to talk to someone that is it not someone challenging me, trying to belittle me and be like, oh, Joe Rogan. But thanks for comparing me to Joe Rogan. I appreciate that. So he ends up leaving. Well, like an hour later, my friend gets a text. And this is what's just so wild to me. You try to belittle me all night, tell me what I should be doing with my life and how I should be doing things. And then he texts her, is like, tell Whitney to meet me in my room. The door's open. And I'm like, seriously? Gag me. There is absolutely no chance on God's green earth. I don't even want to talk to you ever again. Like, you're a bully. You're very closed-minded, and I don't want to talk to you again. And like the fact that you text my friend telling her to tell me to go to your room and wait for you is so insane to me that it literally wants to make me vomit. And she's like, no, she's gonna pass. And he texts her back, well, her podcast sucks. So he didn't even listen to it. Like, it's just crazy. Like, this is why I am doing this podcast, for this exact reason, because we need to be better. We need to do better. We need to treat people with respect and not try to beat people down and then try to have sex with them. And then when you don't get that, then you insult them again and belittle them and try to beat them down. Like, that is such a horrible, toxic, disgusting cycle. And it's really sad that that is how people behave, and that people think that by beating someone down and challenging them is going to want to make them have sex with you. It's just absolutely insane. And then when they say no because you're literally not a very nice person, that you again then insult them again and try to beat them down and tell me my podcast sucks. Like, it's just crazy. And I hope he listens to this. You know what? I'm actually going to tell my friend to send this to him, and hopefully this will wake him up. And he probably maybe won't even remember what happened. Who knows? But like that, again, the fact that you're out insulting people, belittling people, being mean, cruel, and rude, and then you don't remember. I remember. And now I'm talking about it on a podcast. It's kind of crazy. So this is also why you need to be in control of yourself. Because you never know who you're talking to. You never know how your words and the things you say affect people's lives and your own life. So be careful and lift each other up. How embarrassing for a man to be belittling me when you're the one that came to seek my energy. But when you don't get what you want, you become mean instead of just enjoying the moment, trying to connect with people, learn something. Like, and that's being closed-minded is so dangerous, because this is what it does. It makes you put walls up and not allow conversation to happen because you think that you have the right way or that this person's wrong and you need to tell them. You don't need to do anything. What you need to do is shut your mouth, open your ears, open your heart, and listen. And if you don't agree with someone, who gives a flying shit? Who cares? It's like Instagram. And my friend Millie even said, it's like Instagram. If you don't like what you see, don't let it bother you and keep scrolling. You don't need to go on there and post negativity and be mean and cruel and belittle someone, just keep scrolling. Why put more negativity into the world? There's already enough. We need to put light into the world and love and take better care of ourselves so that we can take better care of our planet and humanity. But it's just crazy to me. So I want to remind you that no matter what you're going to try to do or how you're going to start to be the new version of yourself or start your healing, you are going to have people that are going to come in and they are going to try to steal your energy, trigger you, get you upset, talk shit to you, try to get you angry. And the best thing I can tell you is don't let them. Block them. I don't think we block enough people. I'm like the first to block someone and I don't care. And I know a lot of people are like, no, like let them stay on and see you. And it's like, no. If they want to see me, they're going to go to a friend and they're going to say, pull up Whitney. I want to see her. Then they can do that. Like they can go through the extra to see what I'm doing if they're really that interested. But I don't need the negative energy and I don't want to see them. So just block. Who cares? They're not going to say anything to you. And if they do, block them again. Who cares? But it's your responsibility. And this is what we don't understand. You are the creator of your reality. Okay, I'm going to break this down really quick. We live in a universe that we all know and we've heard of, the law of attraction. This is a universal law. There are 12 of them. If you're interested, start to research them. The law of attraction states that you do not get what you want. You get who you're being. So, in your reality that you're creating, you're always attracting to you something, okay? You are either attracting negative or positive based off of the thoughts you have in your head and the feelings you feel in your body. That's how you attract. So if you are spiraling in negative self-talk, you're not worthy, no one loves you, you're not smart enough, you don't get it right, you always make mistakes, and then you feel like I'm a piece of shit, no one loves me, I feel drained, I feel lonely, I feel sad. That's exactly what you're going to attract. Okay? But if you feel loved and you tell yourself you are beautiful and smart and brave and you can do things, and you start to go the other way and spiral upwards, and then you feel that in your body. I feel loved. I work out, which helps me raise my vibration. I stretch, which opens my heart to the world. I open my mind. I am not small-minded. I am big-minded. I explore. I love. That is what conscious creation is. You go to the good side. So you're always creating your reality, but what's happening, and this is what people don't understand, is they're mostly creating a reality that they hate because they don't realize that they are creating that. But you can consciously create a different side. You can consciously do this by changing the thoughts and the feelings you have. So as you make this switch from you creating like this negative person, and you're going to change your character and you're going to change your identity and you're going to go to the other side. You're going to start being conscious of your thoughts. You're going to start being conscious of the way you feel. You're going to start being conscious of the things you're doing. You're going to become conscious, not a robot, not program. You're going to change the programming. You become conscious. As you start doing this, it triggers people. And people get very uncomfortable because they're like, oh my God, you're changing. Why are you changing? because you are showing them that they're not doing something like you're doing. So it makes them uncomfortable. It gives them FOMO. They're like, well, why the hell is she changing? And oh my gosh, she's working out. And oh my God, she isn't drinking anymore. And oh my God, she quit doing this and now she's doing that. And oh, she has new friends. Like, you are literally changing who you're being, and it's making people uncomfortable. So as you shift to this side, you need to be aware that you cannot control anything but you. So when people start coming into your world, because they want to know, people want to know what's going on with you. We're attracted to energy. We are all energy. So when you're out in the world, you know how sometimes you just like, oh, wow, that person looks so magnetic. You're attracted to them because their energy is different. So as you change and you start to become a conscious creator, this is going to happen to you, where people are going to start wanting to know what's going on with you. But like the story I told, it's going to trigger people. It's going to make them feel very insecure because usually they're the ones in control. They're the ones telling people. They're the powerful ones. And it's going to trigger them because they don't have power over you. They don't make you feel small. They don't make you feel insecure. They're not stealing your energy and triggering you and getting a reaction out of you. When you do not give people a reaction, it shuts them down and they're like, whoa, the script just got flipped and now you are showing them something that they weren't prepared to see. So they don't know what to do. So they leave, just like he left. When I ended up turning away, maybe 5 minutes later, maybe 20 minutes later, he ended up leaving and he went somewhere else. And that is the power that you hold and how you continuously create your own reality. And I didn't do anything. I didn't say anything mean to him. I just stood firm in who I am, in my power, and that I fucking love my podcast and everything that I'm doing. And I don't do this for you. And I straight up told him, I said, that's okay. My podcast isn't meant for you. Keep listening to Joe Rogan, bro. But one day when I'm on Joe Rogan's podcast, that'll be fun. Flip the script, you know, like so. Anyway, I will be on Joe Rogan's podcast one day. Just remember, you're in control always. It's okay sometimes if you, as you learn, you know, we're not perfect. I'm not perfect. You know, maybe at some point someone's going to try to trigger me. But do not give in to people that want to suck your energy and belittle you because you're doing something, because you're changing your life, because you're becoming better, because you're not being triggered by what they have to say, because you don't care what they have to say, because you know who you are, because you are building something beautiful for you and you are creating something better. And as they start to see you change, two things are going to happen. Number one, they're either going to change too. They're going to decide, wow, I've seen them change. They look so happy. They're thriving. They created this beautiful life. Like, maybe I should learn from them. So either they're going to change or they're going to disappear from your reality. Those are the two things that are going to happen. And that's great. That's what you want. As you start to move forward and better your life for you and your kids and your family and your soul and your purpose and your destiny and why you came here, either people are going to get on board or they're going to get off. And it doesn't matter. Let them go. Let them. Maybe they'll come back in 5 years or maybe they won't. It doesn't matter. But you're in control of your life, of your destiny, of your reality by consciously learning who you are, what you are like, what triggers you, what doesn't trigger you, and believing like in yourself. You're going to start to create something beautiful for you and be the best person. And it happens as a domino effect. When you change the people around you, or they get left behind. They leave. Let them leave. it's probably better for your energy anyway to be like, God, now I don't have to I'm not being challenged by this energy vampire. Gosh, what's the point? You've worked too hard. You're working too hard on your healing to let someone come into your world and challenge you and get you riled up and get you spiraling and talking and gossiping and angry. No, just, okay, I'm done with this conversation. I'm going to talk to my friend over here and let them figure it out, because they will. And they're going to leave you alone, because you are going to take the energy back into self and you're in control. And maybe you need to walk away. Who cares? Let them spiral and do them. That's not who you are anymore. You don't want to be a part of that low vibrating bullshit. You don't want to be a part of that. You want to be empowering others, talking about building each other up, lifting each other up, ways to help each other. Not your podcast sucks. It's rude. It doesn't help anything. So I hope this helps you guys. And come back to this episode. If you're being triggered by someone at work or someone in your family, or maybe your kids or your husband, or something's happening, come back to this. You're the creator. You hold the power. You got this. The better you feel, the better it gets. And the better it gets, the better it gets, the better it gets, the better it gets. But just like the law of polarity that we talked about 2 episodes ago, the worse it gets, the worse it gets, the worse it gets. You get to choose what side you're on. And hopefully you choose the better it gets, because it's true. The better it gets. And it's amazing. So I love you guys very much. Please, if you have not liked and subscribed, please hit the like button, subscribe, share this with a friend, share this with someone you know. Also, I have opened some spots to do some one-on-one coaching with me. So if that's something you're interested in, send me a DM on Instagram or TikTok, Whitney Morgan Ward, and I will give you guys the info on that and how to work with me one-on-one. And I am going to be working on a program as well, a masterclass that I'm going to be doing. So be on the lookout for that. I love you guys. Please rate me on Spotify and Apple Podcast. I will see you guys next week. And as always, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's go.